England, the home of the Industrial Revolution, has defined the image of how the modern Western world was built. But now the nation is at a crossroads. How do you modernize while still retaining the history that once made you great? A question now faced by the entire island. How are the English keeping their history while keeping up with the times? Liverpool in northwest England is the home to some of the world's first industrial age architecture. From these docks, ships set sail, delivering the equipment and goods that would help usher in the new world. It's also home to some of England's Victorian-era marvels. But today, creating a new Liverpool is costing the city its cherished World Heritage status. UNESCO revoked the status in 2021, largely because of the construction of these modern buildings on the waterfront. City officials erected glass and steel structures in front of its celebrated Three Graces, buildings iconic not only to England, but the entire Industrial Revolution.
I don't think it's that important. I think basically what's important is the actual history of Liverpool and where it is in the history of England. You know, people don't come here because it's UNESCO. They come here because it's where the Beatles came from and where sort of the Titanic sailed from and things like that.
With the island nation constantly in a state of renovation and repair, it's attracting architects from around the world. Liisa Murd is an architectural designer from Estonia. She's made the south of the UK her home for nearly a decade.
I came to England from Estonia 9 years ago. I came here to study architecture. I went straight to the Arts University of Bournemouth as I saw the picture of the other door. And without knowing anything about England, I saw that stone and I was like, this is the place I'm going to.
Inspired by another English UNESCO World Heritage Site, Durdle Door, Liisa settled down in a coastal region south of London.
I think the first time I thought about getting into architecture was I saw this one building. It was a shopping center in my town, from where I'm from, in Estonia. And it was very unattractive. And I thought, if someone can do that, surely I can do better than that. That's always been in my interest. I've always been interested in art. I wanted to do something that's like combination of art and real life, and architecture is perfect for that. Someone visiting England for the first time will see the timeless cultural heritage through the lens of architecture for the last 500 to 1,000 years, and each era is represented in a different architectural style. A typical layout of a smaller English town. There's an old town, the center of which is like a pedestrianized street that's full of shops and cafes and something to do for the public, and it's usually referred to as a high street. On the weekends you can find these high streets super busy, and there are pop-up markets that just draw people in, and this is a very, very characteristic aspect to an English old town.
Though she lives outside London,
Liisa often travels here to draw inspiration from and to see the natural texture or marvels of the city.
You can find Baroque buildings like St. Paul's Cathedral, neoclassical style, which is the Tate Britain. You can come across brutalist architecture, which is the National Theatre.
Today, Liisa is on a final trip. Her main objective is to visit her favorite sites as well as some new ones. With over 20,000 new housing units built every year, there are always new sites to see as well as some newly refurbished ones. Like the Battersea Power Station. Back in the 1930s, it was the city's largest coal power plant. At one time, it was a recognizable landmark. But it had fallen on hard times until it was reborn at a cost of $8 billion in October of 2022. It's Lisa's first chance to see it since the opening.
It was originally a power station that supplied power for the whole of London. It was repurposed to now accommodate a shopping centre, flats and offices, and the cinema, and the architects have done a brilliant job with it. We could see the two atriums, which have a large opening, a void inside them, and then the offices and the cinema is in the middle. We can only get the sense of scale in these two spaces. Facing facade being supported with steel beams, and we could see the structure that used to have stairs in, and the architects have brilliantly left all that in to get the character and the essence of what this building was like before. Working with existing buildings is a truly rewarding experience for the architects, and it adds value to the city with preserving the history and the style and the materials of the existing building. It really can bring an old building alive when we add new ways of using it, add new materials to it, and refurbish it in some nice way. It attracts people as well, because something old and something new is always an interesting combination. It is a very sustainable way of constructing a building as well, as you don't need to start from scratch. You can use a lot of what's there already and just make new materials that are necessary.
With more than 180,000 new construction projects started in the UK in 2022 alone, saving significant structures of yesteryear is vital, and it's also a labor of love. It was important to keep this building intact. No small task, considering there were more than 6 million bricks in its exterior. So millions had to be handmade to replace the aging original bricks. With the Battersea Power Station, city planners and architects have brought new life to a legendary piece of the London skyline. With no end in sight for England's construction boom, the question remains, will more buildings like the Battersea Power Station get facelifts? Or will historic gems get obstructed by new construction and lose their place in the nation's skyline?